Welcome to ESPN College Football, presented by Geico. From Tempe, Arizona, you're watching the Pac-12 on ESPN. It's a 95-degree night in the desert as Arizona State welcomes 13th ranked and defending Pac-12 champion Utah to Sun Devil Stadium for the conference opener. A tumultuous time to be an Arizona State fan. The Herm Edwards era came to an end last weekend, but a cloud of uncertainty continues to hover ASU with an ongoing NCAA investigation that led to the departure of 16 players and 5 coaches. And after a shocking loss to Eastern Michigan, a team that lost to winless Buffalo today and gave up 50, Herm Edwards parted ways with the university, and a former local high school head coach, Sean Aguano, named interim. Dave Pasch, Dusty Dvorak, Tom Luganville in a second. Dusty, you'll have plenty of time over the next few hours to go in depth and talk about the far future of Arizona State football. What about the near future? In the short term, how do the Sun Devils salvage this season starting tonight?
Well, it started earlier in the week in practice. Sean Aguano changed everything about this practice schedule. They went more on tempo. They got more physical in practice, and they felt they were stacking days better than they have all season long. And it's going to take a fast start against one of the most physical teams in all the Pac-12. That's right. Everybody wants what Utah has. The Pac-12 championship belt. They finally kicked that door down a season ago. And man, does Kyle Whittingham have himself an outstanding team. A loss to start the season at Florida. They feel they've righted the ship and are ready to hit their stride as they hit Pac-12 play. They've got a veteran quarterback and Cam Rising, who's playing some great football. And Tom, this is one of the most physical football teams in all of college football.
Well, there's no question about it, Dusty. There's no secret sauce to what Utah wants to be. They want to bloody your nose, and they're going to do it with running back Tavion Thomas, the 240-pounder. It is very simple. Utah's going to run inside zone. They're going to run outside zone. They're going to run a play-action pass, and they're going to have loads of tight ends on the field. Arizona State a week ago gave up over 300 yards to Eastern Michigan. So it's not about what is Utah going to do. It's about, can Arizona State stop it?
All right, Luke's Pac-12 After Dark. Number 13, Utah. And Arizona State squaring off under the lights in Tempe. Kickoff is next. Another dry evening in the desert, 95 degrees, as Arizona State and Utah get ready to square off. The series has been dominated by the Devils. The Utes are just 4-15 all time. Coach Whittingham 4-6. They did beat Arizona State last year, and the Sun Devils were ranked 18th and actually led by 2 touchdowns in that game, and Utah came back to win, and that helped springboard the Utes to their first Pac-12 championship. Arizona State won the toss, elected to defer, so Chaplitsky will kick it deep to Money Parks for Utah, and the Pac-12 season is underway. This will be a touchback, come out to the 25, and we'll get our first look tonight at Cam Rising, the Texas transfer, who a year ago lost the starting job, ended up leading them to a championship and being named first team all Pac-12 despite losing the battle in camp to Charlie Brewer a year after he won the battle in camp in 2020, but was injured in the first game and missed the rest of the season.
He's really off to a fantastic start this year, Dave. The only mistake, that one interception late in the ball game against Florida. Other than that, he has been nothing short of fantastic.
And they're going to run the true freshman Jalen Glover, and not surprisingly, Arizona State gives up a huge play on the ground. They allowed one player, Samson Evans of Eastern Michigan, last week to rush for 258 yards.
This is a physical brand of football you're going to see from this Utah offense. As Tom mentioned in the open, multiple tight ends, 12 personnel, 13 personnel, and really good movement off the right side. 32, Logan Kendall, an extra fullback slash tight end with a pancake on the first snap.
Rising over the middle, incomplete. Going for his tight end, Dalton Kincaid. They have 2 really good tight ends, Brant Keithy and Dalton Kincaid, that Rising likes to go to.
Favorite targets on this offense, and They do an excellent job of utilizing them both in the run game and the pass game. Kincaid, more of your traditional hand in the ground, inline tight end. Good blocker, good catch radius, and Keithy, more of that H-back motion man for this offense.
Back to the ground game, and a good play backside by the middle linebacker, Kyle Soley, the leading tackler for ASU. Little extracurricular activity. That's the fight the Arizona State coaches want to see. Maybe not literally, but they want to see a spark, which has not been there this season.
Donnie Henderson, defensive coordinator of Arizona State, challenged these guys this week, and he looks to his leader on defense, Kyle Soley, making a nice stop right there on second down.
Dusty, interesting. No Tavion Thomas yet. Then the Jalen Garner, the true freshman, at running back for all 3 snaps.
3rd down and 8. Utah's been very good on 3rd down so far this season. Rising to the air as time now steps up and delivers incomplete. Would have been a 1st down. Kincaid could not come up with it. And it's 4th down. A stop for Arizona State.
Just good zone coverage. Kincaid trying to find a soft spot. Cam Rising stepping up in the pocket, unable to locate his big tight end, 86, and a huge stop here to start this game for Arizona State. We talked about it throughout the course of this week, Dave. So important that Arizona State gets off to a good start. A nice stop here early for that Sun Devil defense.
And Utah team that has not gotten off to good starts this season. DJ Taylor waving, and fair caught as he hits the deck at the 21-yard line and is shaken up. Grabbing his left ankle immediately.
Timeout for an injured player.
Arizona State has a lot of injuries in the secondary. Taylor is the starting nickel and is an excellent special teams player. They're going to be playing 2 guys in Tariq Luckett and Isaiah Johnson tonight on defense who barely played this year. And you see a collision with a teammate. All right, so while we have a moment, let's take a look at tonight's Bear Paint game plan.
Yeah, for Utah, stay true to who you are, ground and pound. We've talked about Utah loves to line up and run the football, leading the Pac-12. And for Arizona State, get off to a strong start. They've been outscored in the first quarter 10-6. And as you just referenced, Dave, Utah has been a team that's kind of been slow to get things going early on in games so far this season. And as we talked with Sean Aguano, we know this team, with a great week of practice, can have a lot of energy early. I think it'll be huge if they can really find some life, find some success to keep these guys fully engaged throughout the course of this 60-minute affair.
Well, they have a veteran quarterback in Emory Jones, a transfer from Florida. And he's going to throw on 1st down, and it's batted down on the defensive line. Looked like Vamahi got his hand up. Suga Turaga as well. Emory Jones, as we mentioned, a transfer from Florida, came in the summertime, so had to catch up quickly to the scheme here at Arizona State. Initially committed to Ohio State out of high school. He's from Georgia, ended up at Florida, started 12 games there last year, threw 13 picks, but no interceptions yet this season. On 2nd down and 10, Jones in trouble, hit and sacked. Lander Barton, who Kyle Whittingham says is the future of Utah football, gets the sack and a loss of about 8.
Yeah, this is a coverage sack here. It's good coverage down the field. Emory Jones holding on to that ball too long. But you're exactly right. Lander Barton, there's so much to like about this talented true freshman, size, speed, and as they bring him on the blitz, able to do a nice job getting off the block and getting Emory Jones to the ground. No, Tom, I'd like to see in that moment, if nothing's down the field, I'd like to see Emory Jones utilize that athleticism similar to what we saw Anthony Richardson do against this defense in the opener.
No question. He's got to create some broken plays so he can get on the perimeter and force Utah to have to defend quarterback run. That's got to be part of the game plan tonight for the Sun Devils.
Now they're in 3rd and 17 after the 7-yard loss via the sack. Jones will throw it here, pressure in his face, and he's sacked again inside the 5. He gets mauled by Gabe Reed. Stanford transfer with the takedown. Back-to-back sacks, and Arizona State will have to punt from its own end zone.
Well, Morgan Scalley, the defensive coordinator, dialing it up. Overload the left side, bring 3 rushers, and it's Gabe Reed that comes clean and gets home. This is a guy who's continuing to get more and more reps with this defense, a smart football player, and a nice move inside for back-to-back sacks.
Japliski gets the kick away. Vele is the deep man for Utah, and thanks to good hang time, he has to signal and hauls it in at the 47. 48-yard punt. Utah will have the ball at midfield when we come back. So Sean Aguano was hired by Herm Edwards as the running backs coach in 2019 after a very successful run at Chandler High School. 4 state championships in his final 5 years at Chandler High. Coached some great players, N'Keal Harry, who played here at Arizona State, Cam Jordan, Deion Jordan, and then was named interim head coach on Sunday. And Sean told us when we met with him this week, with Herm Edwards' blessing, after Herm and athletic director Ray Anderson decided it was time to part ways and Herm go off back to California with his family, he sat in on the meeting as Rising throws complete to Enos close to a first down. Herm Edwards sat in the meeting, and both he and Ray Anderson agreed that Sean Aguano was the best man for the job, and he got the interim tag with an opportunity, if there is success, to possibly get an interview, if nothing else, for the head coaching job. There's a penalty marker down 2 after that 9-yard gain.
He looks at this as a great opportunity to prove that he's a viable candidate.
Personal foul, late in out of bounds. Number 7 in the defense. This 15-yard penalty will be added to the end of the play with an automatic first down.
It's on to Marcus Davis, the kind of mistakes you can't make. You're trying to upset a top 15 team. Type of undisciplined football, although really wasn't much there, but still you got to hold up. But that's kind of type of things that have plagued this Arizona State team.
Focus and attention to detail were 2 things he really touched on with us when we spoke with him this week.
Mekhi Bernard in the game, and here's a flea flicker. Rising with a ton of time, got a receiver wide open, and it's caught for a touchdown. Dalton Kincaid got behind the defense, and Utah is on the board first.
We've talked about the physicality of this team. How about the creativity and imagination of Andy Ludwig? Outstanding play design and execution for Utah, and Arizona State never saw that coming.
And the point after makes it 7-0 Utes. 3rd touchdown of the season for Kincaid, and the 9th passing touchdown for Cam Rising.
If it's us versus them, who you think gon' win? If it's us versus them, who you think gon' win? If it's
ESPN College Football is presented by Geico. Switch today and see all the ways you could save. And in part by Toyota. Let's go places.
Well, we had mentioned earlier that Utah has started slowly this season, but not tonight. 22-second drive. They got the ball at midfield and then aided by a 15-yard penalty after a 9-yard play to start that drive. Then a flea flicker. Kincaid on the receiving end for the touchdown. 7-0 Utes. First of 3 consecutive ranked teams that Arizona State will play to start the Sean Aguano era, if you will. USC in Los Angeles next week. USC down to Oregon State early on, 7-0 at last check. Washington will be here in a couple weeks. Huskies coming off a big win last week against Michigan State. Ngata fielding it short of the 10 and gets knocked down about the 28-yard line.
Let's go back and look at that flea flicker that you referenced there, Dave. Arizona State runs a lot of cover 3, and you'll see the corner 7 to Marcus Davis. He's that deep 3rd player. So the slot receiver, Solomon Enos, he's going to go like a skinny post. He's going to grab the attention of the corner, and then it's very well done by Kincaid. Acts like he's blocking, sneaks out in the wheel route. Nobody there to identify him, and an easy pitch and catch, walk-in touchdown, perfectly executed by Cam Rising in this Utah offense.
Arizona State starting this drive and it's 27, went backwards and its first possession ended up punting from the back of its end zone. Valade will get the carry on first down and he gets flattened at the line of scrimmage. Junior Tafuna there for Utah. The Utes have an excellent defensive line. Tafuna's second team All Pac-12 a year ago and the Pac-12 Defensive Freshman of the Year. They're always good on the D line.
Year after year, great continuity up front. They got good depth, rotate guys in. Nobody better amongst the defensive tackles than Tafuna. Strong and stout there in the middle.
Jones off play action, sidearms it complete out to the 32 to Elijah Badger, who has definitely been Jones' favorite receiver. That's 18 catches. The rest of the group doesn't have 18 combined. Gain of 5. It'll bring up 3rd and 5.
Little tempo as a change up here, Dusty. This is abnormal for them. Usually a huddled team is Arizona State so far this year.
Sean Aguano said they were going to do that this week. Be definitely more tempo.
Got that bunch, tight bunch to the boundary. Watch for Badger.
Jones, everybody covered. Now a receiver comes free and it's a first down out past the 40 and to midfield. And then Sanders, who made the catch, was leveled out of bounds. No flag on the play. There's a flag in the backfield, but not on the sideline after the big hit by Cole Bishop. Gain of 18, but it looks like it's coming back. Penalty on ASU.
Pass interference. 82 of the offense was blocking downfield on a pass that went beyond the line of scrimmage. It's a 15-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
They ran a mesh here with receivers from both sides of the line of scrimmage crossing over. I think Andre Johnson, 82, called. So he's going to come across. 20 and 82 are going to cross each other. And you saw right there, Andre Johnson gets a good piece of 20, Lander Barton. Looked like he was necessarily blocking.
He picked him, though, and that's a penalty.
Definitely picked him. There's no question.
So now it's 3rd down and 19. You would imagine Utah be teeing off here. And a short throw by Jones. Get about 3 yards. Cam Johnson on the catch, but another punt coming up for Arizona State.
Such a punitive penalty there on that offensive pass interference. You finally get something good to happen offensively. Move the chains to get a nice big gain and completely negated. All of a sudden here early on in this game, this next defensive stand for Arizona State, extremely important.
Vele is deep. Another high kick and fair caught at the 30. As we say good evening to Matt Berry, who is watching this game with every part of his being.
Yeah, Dave Pasch, unfortunately I am. AT&T 5G studio update. You mentioned Oregon State on top early. Deshaun Fenwick punches it in off the left side. Right now it's Beavers 7-3 over the Trojans.
Well, Matt is not the only Sun Devil who is very curious to see how things play out tonight and the rest of the season and what the future is for this Arizona State program, which won 8 games last year, but then because, as there's a penalty marker down, because of the NCAA investigation, we touched on in the open with all the players leaving and the coaches leaving. They were picked 10th preseason.
52 of the offense. It's a 5-yard penalty to steal first down.
So the expectations were not high going into the season for Arizona State, but it was worse than anybody could have expected. They played well against Oklahoma State, but what happened last week was a disaster.
It was a disaster. They did. They were in that game in Stillwater for the duration, and last week was just inexplicable.
On 1st and 15, Glover, a couple of broken tackles, and he's out to about the 30, so he gets 5 yards. Silvera with the tackle for Arizona State.
As we touched on earlier, is really that run defense that was what plagued this football team, giving up 305 yards on the ground to Eastern Michigan. Guys just unable to get off of blocks, out of position, poor tackling, you name it. Trying to get that remedied here tonight.
So on 2nd and 10, after they get back to the original line of scrimmage, they're going to run it again. And Glover is stood up and pushed back met in the hole after a gain of about 2. Connor Soley was there, so was his brother Kyle on the stop.
Huge down here, Dusty.
Yeah, you know, Donnie Henderson doesn't bring a lot of pressure. You know, they play a lot of just base 4-man rush.
Yep.
If there was ever a time to maybe dial something up, try to get Cam Rising uncomfortable, I think it'd be right now.
That's Bernard. He's a really good receiver. They like to go to him a lot. Rising instead has Vele, and it's a first down out to the 43-yard line. So they pick up 3rd down and 8. Tackle made by Bethley. It's a gain of 12.
Good clean pocket right there for Cam Rising to stand tall, survey the field. Nice underneath crossing route. Sun Devils unable to identify it.
Utah goes up tempo. They're unable to identify the tight end out in space. It's Kincaid, who's been open several times, including on the touchdown. It's another 14 yards, and Utah's in Arizona State territory again. You got Brant Keithy, who is number 2 among active tight ends in the country in career yardage, behind Dalton Kincaid. So you got the top 2 active tight ends in college football on one team. Another quick throw here from Rising out in space to Solomon Enos. Banged out a play at the 40-yard line by Bethley. Gain of 3.
Do such a good job on the perimeter as a team blocking. They deploy those tight ends out there, but even the wide receivers, really the attention to detail of physicality outside is impressive.
Rising with a ton of time. Long throw, and the catch is made by Keithy. Knocked out of bounds after a gain of 4, so another huge 3rd down. And Chris Edmonds out in coverage there for Arizona State.
Playbook wide open here. They've got their Swiss Army knife. Micah Bernard in the backfield catches the ball very well.
Rising instead hits Vele again open. Inside the 30, tackled by Soley. Another 3rd down conversion for Rising. Looks sharp early on here for Utah. He can really spin it. His completion percentage is around 70 this year. His worst play, unfortunately, was the biggest play. Late in Gainesville, week 1, an interception when they had a chance to take the lead, as Bernard carries for about 4 yards, brought down by Peshafea.
So composed in the pocket, right, Dave? And just allowing, when he's got that time, allowing guys to come open. Also effective on the move as well.
Here's Bernard, and he's grounded after a gain of 1. Merlin Robertson stuck a hand in there and tripped him up. Another 3rd down. Play 10 of this drive coming up.
They have not been able to get any kind of pressure so far on Cam Rising, Tom. Yeah. At some point, I know it exposes your back into your defense, but need to try to get him a little bit more uncomfortable in the pocket.
Yeah, they've got to create something that's going to create some energy for the defense. A negative play. Something that gets Utah off schedule, gets them behind the sticks. Right now, Utah is completely dictating terms in the run and pass game.
Again, keep an eye on Mekhi Bernard. You see him leaving the backfield. The throw over the middle is caught, then the ball is punched out. But Utah recovers it inside the 15. What a heads-up play that time by Bernard to jump on the loose ball. It is a first down for Utah inside the 15-yard line.
Fumbled and then recovered by the offense beyond the line of game for first down.
Well, that's a big hit. Good accurate throw. Dart right there. Bethley coming in. A big shoulder on the football, but as you referenced, Bernard, Johnny on the spot getting on top of that football.
Glover is back in at tailback. He'll get it on first down, and good cutback to get to the 10-yard line because that was going nowhere to the outside. Peshafea got a piece of him, enough to get him to the ground, a gain of 4.
Seen a heavy dose of Jalen Glover, the true freshman. Coaches told us last night that we would see quite a bit of him. They've been very happy with him. 5'7", 207, very thick running back that got some dynamic capabilities, but we have not seen Tavion Thomas here so far. Seen Bernard, seen Glover. No sign of their big 6'3", 240-pound tailback.
As you said, Glover's been coming on, did not play week 1 in Florida. He's inside the 10 here, down to the 8-yard line. He's from Lakeland, Florida, but as a true freshman, they didn't feel he was ready for that environment. But he's gotten a lot more reps lately. Be interesting here. Do they bring in Thomas in short yardage for 3rd down and 3? It looks like Glover's going to stay in the game.
Guys, Thomas isn't exactly standing next to the coaching staff waiting on the running back rotation either, so not quite sure what's going on with his absence.
We were told nothing last night from the coaching staff as to whether Thomas wouldn't be available. 3rd down and 3. They're going to run it. Glover! And he comes up short of the line to gain, it would appear. Tackled by Robertson. We'll see where they spot it. It is 4th down, about a half yard. You would imagine Utah would go for it, right?
Absolutely. This is kind of the way that they're built. Short yardage situations, line of scrimmage. Trust and belief in that offensive line. This would be massive for Arizona State to bow their necks and find a way to come up with a stop.
And Dusty, Arizona State is not very big up front. This is an opportunity for Utah to really lean on this Arizona State front 7.
They got 3 tight ends in the game, and that's a fullback, Logan Kendall, who's flexed out of the top of your screen. And they're going to do a little trickery and hand it off to Keithy, the tight end, but there was movement and a flag down. That would make it 4th and 6, and one would assume Whittingham would bring on the field goal team.
Kyle Whittingham screaming over here that he was calling timeout.
Well, the play clock was down to about 2. Hit 3 tight ends and a fullback
Prior to any
in
movement,
there.
timeout, Utah.
Wow, so they're going to give them the timeout.
Yep.
So it will remain 4th down and 1. We'll see if we get a different formation from Utah when we come back. So last year, Tavion Thomas set the school record for rushing touchdowns. Transfer from Cincinnati, but we have not seen him yet. He's not in the game here on 4th down and 1 from the 6-yard line at 240 pounds. We have not been told anything from Utah other than he's expected to play, but he's not in there now when it counts most.
And he doesn't even have his helmet in his hand. So, I mean, that tells you if he is planning to play, something clearly going on. But Utah, after the timeout, going for it here. Heavy set, 3 tight ends on the field.
And Glover, the running back, play action on the boot, rising, throws into the end zone. It's tipped. Oh, and then it's caught for a touchdown. Kincaid with his 2nd of the game. It looked like there was going to be an interception. Tamarcus Davis looked to be in great position to pick it off. Instead, it's 6 points for Utah.
Well defended there by Arizona State. We love play action boot, get Cam Rising outside. He waited, put the ball up, and Dalton Kincaid with those big hands makes quality competitive catches all the time. Nice job with concentrating and bringing that ball in.
And the extra point is good. Kincaid just snatched it away from Tamarcus Davis. 14-play drive. They get the touchdown on 4th down and 1. A 6-minute, 15-second time of possession.
Looked like he wanted to go to Keithy initially. He was well defended, and man, just a really nice job securing it with one hand off his helmet. And a big touchdown, number 2 on the night for Kincaid. I think it's the best, it's as good a tight end duo as you'll find in the country. Georgia, people in Georgia probably said, hey, wait a minute. Brock Bowers and company, they've got a nice set as well, but what these tight ends mean to this offense here in Utah, Tom, it's about as good as it gets in all of college football.
It really is. And Brant Keithy, number 80, is essentially a jumbo wide receiver. And that's why he can line up anywhere. But you got to treat him as a tight end so it can really create some mismatch problems for an opposing defense.
Fair caught at the 16-yard line by Case Hatch. Kick off your Sunday with NFL Countdown, 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN. We go one-on-one with Josh Allen. And then Monday Night Football, the Dallas Cowboys against the 2-0 New York Giants. Peyton and Eli are also back on ESPN2. Cooper Rush getting it done for Dallas last week.
Little NFC East division rivalry game. That'll be a fun one. Cooper Rush 2-0 as a starter. No G-Man. 2-0 so far. Last Sunday was wild. You had a wild one out in Vegas. Holy cow.
Yeah,
you come
Arizona.
down from that Kyler Murray craziness.
Incredible finish with Byron Murphy, who is from Phoenix and went to school at Washington. And the reason I bring that up is Alladay's tackled for a loss by Reed. The reason I bring that up is that's one of the reasons why Sean Aguano got the interim job, because they wanted to do a better job of recruiting Arizona. Byron Murphy, Christian Kirk, players that are excelling in the NFL. In fact, were two of the stars of week 2 of the NFL, both from Phoenix, went elsewhere for college.
This Maricopa County is littered full with top flight Division I athletes, and I really think this is a very good job. Whoever gets a chance to take advantage of it throughout the hiring process.
Jones, and a pass behind the receiver, incomplete. There's a flag. Valladay couldn't come up with it. He was open. Not sure if that was an intended back shoulder throw or just a misfire. See what the penalty is about. But that's been an issue with Arizona State for a while, keeping the best players in the state in the state.
There is no foul for offensive pass interference. Play was ruled legal.
Yeah, Todd Graham here. He had 2 10-win seasons. Granted, he rubbed enough people the wrong way to fill Sun Devil Stadium, which was in part why he was not retained. And then Herm Edwards was hired. The model changed. They were trying to make it more like an NFL setup, where Herm Edwards was essentially the CEO over the program. Had a couple of 8-win seasons, but never had wins over Michigan State, but just never got to the point where they could be a Pac-12 contender.
They should have been last year. That was their year.
3rd and 11. Jones gets rid of it in time, and right at the line to gain. Badger pulls it in, and it is a first down.
Love this pocket presence right here by Emory Jones. Pressure off the edge by Connor O'Toole. He stands strong and fires an absolute laser. And the deep out-cutting route right past the sticks by Elijah Badger. Nice job by Badger, pushing that route all the way past the first down marker, and a big conversion for Arizona State. Nice throw right there by Emory Jones, Tom.
Yeah, no question. His eyes were downfield. Didn't allow the rush to affect him on time.
Jones, and Ballard able to make the first man miss and gets back to the original line of scrimmage. And you made this point earlier, Dusty. I think we should go in a little bit more on Emory Jones. You would think if you're off to a poor start, you lose to a team like Eastern Michigan, you look at Emory Jones' numbers and expect multiple interceptions. How about none?
He's played well. Like, I mean, again, he got here in July. Still learning this offense. You know, it's continuing week in, week out. He's getting better and better. Actually played his best game against Eastern Michigan. The problems of Arizona State, they have not been at the quarterback position.
Jones replacing Jaden Daniels, who transferred to LSU. Jones coming from Florida, and he's a really good runner. That's how Florida initially used him earlier in his career. He's able to pick up about 4. 3rd and long coming up.
Can Arizona State protect? Problem early on in this game, 2 early sacks. We've seen a lot of pressure on Arizona State, not having to blitz much either, able to get there with just 4. And they give Emory Jones time. Elijah Badger's been the go-to guy this season and so far here tonight.
Utah rushing 4. In trouble is Jones, and sacked at the 29-yard line. Van Fillinger with the 3rd sack for the Utes. 2.5 sacks on the season now for Fillinger, who is a state champion in high school in the shot put, growing up in Draper, Utah.
Well, he is strong and physical. And you're just going to see an excellent bull rush off the edge. See the power from Fillinger. Runs right through the guard. Nowhere for Emory Jones to go.
Vele, the return man, has it with one hand inside the 30-yard line. So final seconds here of the first quarter. Cam Rising off to a great start for Utah.
Well, he's had a great start to the season and no different in this ball game. Saw some little creativity here earlier with the flea flicker, executed perfectly. And then on 4th and 1, red zone issues in week 1, not a red zone issue here in the first quarter in Tempe.
So the first 3 games have combined 14 points. They put up 14 in the first quarter tonight. And they do it without their starting running back, Tavion Thomas, who has not played. Play fake. Rising, this time to Keithy. And another first down on the final play of the first quarter. Story all season for Utah has been their tight ends. It looks like Keithy's shaken up there for Utah. Could be a big loss if it's something serious. 14-0 Utah. Hard to tell looking at this play if it was contact or non-contact on the plant there by Keithy, but he was holding his right leg, went into the medical tent. Kyle Whittingham went into the medical tent. You don't normally see a head coach do that, but obviously Keithy's importance and what he's meant to the program, I'm sure a big reason why.
And you can tell he was in a lot of pain. We hope that he is okay, and for a guy that just means so much, as you said, to this program, this team, this season, you hope we see Brant Keithy back as soon as possible. Be a devastating loss to this offense.
On first down, Glover wrapped up after a gain of 1. Silvera on the tackle. Keithy and Kincaid have been a nightmare so far for Arizona State defensively.
Talked about the usage of these tight ends within this offense, and it has been on display from the onset here tonight. What they mean to the run game, but really for this passing attack. Focal point for Cam Rising.
Glover straight ahead, broken tackle, and out past the 45-yard line. Obviously a ton to play for Utah. Even though the loss week 1 is disappointing, you have a whole season to go to obviously try and win the Pac-12 championship and get into the college football playoff. Although it's only happened twice where a team lost in September, made the college football playoff. I was shocked when we found that out. Twice, that's it.
And the first 2 years, right? As it was Ohio State in year number 1 losing to Virginia Tech, Alabama the second season losing to Ole Miss.
88-0 since 2016. Teams that made the college football playoff going perfect in September. On 3rd down and 4, Glover looks to be short by a yard, so 4th down. And if you're Utah, might as well go for it at this point, right?
Absolutely.
I would imagine Kyle Whittingham will not be afraid, given the way they've been able to have their way with Arizona State here early.
You know what, Dusty? This is one of those scenarios where a Keithy being out can hurt you because it affects your ability to run your 13 personnel packages.
And again, they don't have the big back Tavion Thomas in. It's Jalen Glover at running back on 4th down and a yard. And a whistle pre-snap. Flag down.
Prior to the snap, ball start, 37 of the offense. This is a 5-yard penalty to steal 4th down.
So that's on Yasmin, one of the other tight ends. And now Utah will punt the ball. Don't see Utah making those mistakes very often. Normally very disciplined. Kyle Whittingham, they practice hard, they play hard. They've got a brand of football at Utah since he's been there. Almost 30 years, assistant to Urban Meyer for a while, and then head coach now. 2nd longest tenured head coach in FBS behind Kirk Ferentz.
A brand and a culture that is extremely impressive to watch.
DJ Taylor got shaken up on the first punt return is deep. Has to back up. Fair catch made around the 13-yard line. They'll see if Arizona State can find some offense. Down 14-0 early second.
Well, it's been a suffocating Utah defense so far. as from the onset, pass disruptions, pressure and sacks on the quarterback. Morgan Scalley's defense is playing with a vengeance here tonight. 12 plays for Arizona State, 5 tackles for loss and 3 sacks for this Utes defense. They have been an absolute menace for Emory Jones and the Sun Devils.
-5 yards of offense for Arizona State. First possession of the second quarter for the Devils. And Valaday's out past the 15-yard line, so it's a gain about 3 for Valaday, who's averaging 120 yards per game on the ground. In terms of career rushing yards, he's #1 in FBS among active players. He was at Wyoming the last few years. That was the only scholarship offer he got out of high school. He's from Chicago, transferred to Arizona State, and has played well so far this season.
He's had a nice start to the season. One costly fumble against Oklahoma State, but other than that, Valaday's been a real bright spot for this offense.
Jones forced to leave the pocket, throwing on the run, and waiting for a signal. Incomplete.
Badger unable to track that foot in bounds. Emory Jones, I thought he may take off and run.
He should have.
Looked like he had the edge, Tom.
Yeah. I'm with you, man.
Badger just out of bounds, unable to keep that right foot in as he goes to the ground.
He's going to put more pressure on Utah's defense if he picks his spots and takes some of those opportunities, so that they're going to have to back off a little bit. Right now they can just tee off because he's so insistent about throwing the football.
Another 4-man rush. Jones going down the sideline and out past Sanders. Couldn't get there to make the catch. There is a penalty flag down in the secondary at the 39-yard line, so perhaps Arizona State will get a first down via Utah penalty.
This may be on Cole Bishop. There's a lot of contact down the field.
Personal foul. Hands to the face. The 20 of the defense. It's a 15-yard penalty with an automatic first down.
Lander Barton with a big mistake because they were off the field. The punt team was coming on for ASU.
Talked about the talented freshman. You can tell this young man has got a bright future at this level and probably the next. But a Utah royalty with his family has left their mark on just about every piece of the Utah athletics. But freshman with a mistake there, extending the drive.
Valaday gets the carry, some running room. Out past the 40. And a gain of 14 to the 44-yard line before Hubert knocks him down.
A nice hole off the left side, 77. Ladarius Henderson, the center, Ben Scott with a nice seal and a big hole. A little life here for this Sun Devil offense.
Now Jones will sling it, and it's picked off. Intercepted by Phillips. A flag is down. First interception thrown by Jones this season. Phillips, a 3-year starter, second-team All-Pac-12 performer a year ago, jumped that route. Let's see what the flag's about. Looked like there might have been face mask on the offensive player after the interception.
Just as I say, some life in this offense. Clark Phillips slams the door shut. An outstanding corner for Utah. Started every game since he's been there as a true freshman in the 2020 season. Breaks on this route and makes a heck of a play.
After the interception and during the run, personal foul, face mask, the passing team, number 0. That 15-yard penalty will be added to the end of the play. Automatic first down.
So it's on Charles Hall, and now Utah's going to start right around the 30 of Arizona State.
Plant and drive by Clark Phillips, outstanding. Recognizing and anticipating the route that was coming. Just an excellent play from one of the better cornerbacks in all the Pac-12.
You know, Dusty, I think the thing that's interesting about that too is that's coaching, that's film study. He had the key, he had the read, he saw the backfield action, saw what the route was going to come be, and he just knew what it was going to be. That's great preparation defensively from Utah.
And again, great starting field position, Tom, after the pick. Cam Rising has completed his last 10 passes after an 0-for-2 start. Make that 11 in a row, hitting Bailey along the sideline. Former walk-on, earned a scholarship a couple years ago. He's also in his first year as the punt returner, replacing Britton Covey, who is in the news this week as a practice squad player for the Eagles. He tried to get to the game. They didn't recognize him. He wasn't able to park with the team, with the players. They didn't think he was a player, so he had to go into the fan lot. Said there were some Eagles fans that didn't recognize him, though.
What, to half a mile? Come on. That guy a parking spot, for goodness sakes.
Imagine as Bernard gets the first down. Imagine if Dusty did that. People that don't remember, Dusty was a 300-pound nose tackle for the Chicago Bears that had long, flowing blonde hair. Like, I think if you said, "Trust me, I'm a player,"
you don't think they would have questioned me?
They would have
get
been
in the
afraid.
parking garage?
I think they would have legitimately been afraid to question you.
Hopefully, moving forward, they won't question Britton Covey as he's trying to make an impact on that Eagles football team.
Rising, keeping this one, trying to find some room, and scoots out at the 14. Kincaid was out there trying to block for him.
That's the element of this offense too. I mean, he is a very capable runner. We were talking yesterday with the offensive coordinator Andy Ludwig, and you know, if they wanted to, they could run him even more. He's very comfortable outside the pocket. Will tuck it and run. Cam Rising really has developed into one of the better quarterbacks in all of college football and just runs this offense to a T.
They got a wide receiver in there. Jackson getting the carry, and he's knocked down at the 5-yard line. Jaquindon Jackson getting a chance to run the ball. He doesn't have any stats on the year, but he's listed as a receiver, but he was in there at tailback.
Well, they could have put you back there to run through that hole.
Fair point.
Because 32 Logan Kendall, and then the receiver 21 Solomon Enos, just really nice job on the second level, helping secure and open up. Big gaping hole there for a nice run.
I mean, they could give it to Solomon Enos. His dad Curtis was a great player at Penn State, drafted in the top 10 by the Bears. Here's Jackson again trying to get the edge, cut it back down to the 5, so pick up of 2, 2nd and goal coming up.
What was your running back skills like back in the day?
Awful.
Come on.
Just awful. There were no skills.
A lot of negative plays.
I'm not buying that for a second. You're too modest, Dave.
Hey, Dusty, you know, looking at this running back group, I haven't seen anything on the Utah sideline yet, guys, that would tell us why Mekhi Bernard and Tavion Thomas are not playing. If you're choosing to put a wideout back there, obviously something's going on in that room.
Bernard has been out there, Tom, and he's back out there now, but we have not seen. We haven't seen Thomas at all. 2 tight ends. They fake the jet sweep, dump it off, and a good play in the open field as Bernard is smoked by Jordan Clark. His dad, Ryan, our colleague at ESPN.
Excellent recognition here by Jordan Clark. Dad's probably smiling at home. Boot action and hit the running back out of the backfield and come up, and that's how you come up and lay the wood. Nice open field tackle by Jordan Clark. Kincaid in the slot up top.
They're going to run behind Kincaid, and down goes the running back. Glover tackled for a loss, and how about that? Isaiah Johnson, he's played no snaps all season until tonight, but he's out there, key situation, and makes the tackle to force a field goal.
Bring Kincaid across the formation, going to be the lead blocker. Little counter action. An outstanding job by Isaiah Johnson, sidestepping that block of the big tight end and getting a big-time tackle for loss to force the field goal.
Jordan Noyes, who's only attempted 3 field goals on the season, he's made all 3. At the tough angle on the short attempt here. He's able to put it through and extend the lead from 23 yards out. 17-0. Number 13 Utah in front.
ESPN College Football Primetime, presented by Geico, is brought to you by Chick-fil-A. Order a grilled spicy deluxe sandwich today. Available for a limited time.
Well, these teams met last year. The roles were reversed. Arizona State was a top 20 team. Utah won, and that helped springboard the Utes to their first Pac-12 championship. Brant Keithy had 2 touchdowns in that game. Arizona State blew a 21-7 lead. Utah, as we mentioned, went on to win the Pac-12. Arizona State finished 4-5 and an 8-win season. And then this year started 1-2. Herm Edwards and the school parted ways. Athletic director Ray Anderson says Herm was not dismissed and he did not resign. So obviously they're still trying to figure out the language, I'm sure. Contractually, Ray Anderson and Herm Edwards, good friends, go way back. Ray Anderson at one time was Herm Edwards' agent. Sean Aguano, the interim coach, making his debut tonight. His team down 17-0. Ngata on the return, has room. Past the 30. Past the 50. And all the way to the 42. That'll finally bring a smile to the face of Matt Berry back in the studio.
Yeah, Pash, I'll take what we can get right now. Capital One reporting performance. You know who's not going to be smiling after this? One Dusty Dvorak, because Adrian Martinez in Kansas State, he had a career night accounting for 5 touchdowns. They go into Norman and beat the Dusty D's 41-34, the final.
Man, impressive victory for Chris Kleiman, Kansas State, after they lose at home to Tulane and muster up 10 points. And we all saw what Oklahoma did in Lincoln, Nebraska. Big upset there in Norman. Kansas State, you knew Kansas State was going to bounce back and play well. Huge win for the Wildcats.
Valladay very patient with that run, and he hits a couple to the 40-yard line. I feel like we've said this a lot, that this year we're going to have more upsets than ever before. I mean, certainly you had upsets last year with Cincinnati and Michigan getting the college football playoff, but maybe this year will be even more chaotic. It feels like it's certainly headed that way.
We had it a couple of weeks ago with the Sun Belt, knocking off 3 major programs. We can debate if Nebraska's a major program anymore, but it was 3 big wins. And Texas goes down in Lubbock today. Oklahoma goes down. USC down right now in Corvallis.
Miami losing to Middle Tennessee. Jones, and it's caught by Badger near the 20-yard line. A gain of 19, and finally Arizona State's offense getting something going here.
Boy, the pocket presence here of Emory Jones doesn't panic, steps right up. There's edge pressure. He sidesteps, steps up, is patient, and he waits for Badger to come open on a nice in-cutting route. Excellent job right there, Tom, by Emory Jones. Cool, calm, collected in the pocket, and accurate down the field.
Great job keeping his eyes downfield. And on a side note, guys, Valladay came off limping there. They're starting running back for Arizona State. Sub coming in the game now.
Right. Daniel Ngata, his brother Joseph, plays at Clemson. Ngata inside the 20. And push back after a gain of 2 at Fillinger in their first defensively for Utah.
Got it with that nice kickoff return to kind of spark this drive right here. Exactly what Arizona State needed. Down 3 scores. Gata's got that great breakaway speed, that burst.
Got to capitalize here, though, Dusty. A field goal does not help this football team. Got to get 6 points if you're Arizona State.
But Jones under center on 2nd and long, steps up, firing inside the 10, and the pass too high for Andre Johnson inside the 10-yard line. So 3rd down and 8 coming up.
Yeah, just misfired there. And Emory Jones trusting his offensive line, though there's been a lot of pressure on him throughout the night. Stands tall and just fires high to Andre Johnson. I thought Andre Johnson played really well at times last week against Eastern Michigan. Between him and Badger really have emerged as the top 2 targets down the field.
See how Utah handles this. Do they come after Jones? They've been able to get to him 3 times for sacks. Jones pass again high, and he had Gio Sanders open at the 10-yard line. 4th down.
And Scally dials up pressure. Both inside linebackers on an inside plug blitz. Picked up pretty well. Emory Jones had time to deliver the football and just misses on an inside slant. It was set up and it was there. Emory Jones off target on both 2nd and 3rd down.
So Carter Brown on for a 36-yard field goal attempt, trying to get Arizona State some points. And the Devils are on the board. So it's 17-3 Utah late in the first half. kick off here Sunday with NFL Countdown, 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN. That includes a one-on-one with Bills quarterback Josh Allen. Got Bills fan here tonight. Monday night, it's Cowboys and Giants NFC East battle. 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ABC, ESPN, ESPN Deportes, ESPN Plus, and Peyton and Eli back on ESPN2.
Well, hate to see that, Dave. Brant Kuithe, man, such an integral piece of this Utah football team, a leader, the production, the role that he plays, ice, on the knee, coming out in crutches. Oh, man, could be a devastating blow to this Utah football team moving forward. We'll hope for the best. Not a good sign right there, Dave.
Three-time All Pac-12 performer. They do have Dalton Kincaid, but part of what made Kincaid great is having Kuithe.
Yeah, and they serve two different roles. You know, Tom was talking about that earlier. I mean, Kincaid more of your, you know, your true tight end, and you know, Kuithe serves a different role. He's almost a bigger wide receiver, H-back, a little bit of everything.
Jaquindon Jackson getting another carry here, thrown forward by Robertson, gain of 3.
We'd be big right here if Arizona State could come up with another stop. I really respect the effort that defense gave coming off the interception to force that field goal.
They're trying to get up there and run Jackson again, but a penalty marker down.
Ball start. 86 of the offense. It's a 5-yard penalty. It is still second down.
We talked with Kyle Whittingham last night and said, you know, if you had a team that didn't practice the way you did, that didn't have the veterans that you did, would you be a little concerned about overlooking Arizona State? He said, yeah, I would be. I'm not really concerned. But, and I'm not saying they are, but we've seen a lot more undisciplined plays tonight from Utah than one would normally see.
Yeah, pre-snap penalties, not something we typically see from this Utah football team. Coach Whittingham called him a wounded animal, and he definitely was not allowing this team to overlook their opponent.
Rising through the hands of the receiver, Enos couldn't hang on. He had a run of 12 straight completions before that drop by Enos, and now it's 3rd and 12.
Big opportunity here again for this Arizona State defense. They don't typically bring much pressure. They're pretty much a vanilla defense. It's a lot of 4-man front, cover 3. They don't variate or change a whole lot. A nice time to maybe try to bring some pressure and get that ball out of Rising's hand quickly.
Well, they have 2 players, the Markham twins, not playing tonight for personal reasons, as the pass is caught, and it's going to be a first down. Kincaid just about to say that they've got a lot of guys in the secondary that haven't played this year, that are out there with Rode Torrance injured and the Markham twins not playing tonight for personal reasons as they think about their future.
Just a really nice job there by Kincaid, finding the soft spot in the zone. Cam Rising locked in on his tight end. 3rd and 12, no problem, as the Utes move the chains.
Great numbers for Kincaid, including 2 touchdowns. Utah picking up 3rd down and 12. Rising off play action. That ball high sailed on him. He was going for Money Parks. 3:23 to go. Utah with 2 timeouts remaining.
A couple of slight misfires here on this drive, Dave. We saw a pass that could have been caught by Vele, just missed it a second ago, and we see right there Parks. Ball is a little bit high, catchable ball, but Rising just slightly off target on a couple of these passes.
Junior from Ventura, California. First team All Pac-12 a year ago, transferred 3 years ago from Texas. A handoff and a great play by Silvera. Grabbed the running back Bernard with one arm, ripped him down.
Silvera, that Miami transfer, extremely talented guy, really highly touted coming out of high school. Nice job with the penetration, backdooring that block and getting the ball carrier to the ground. A 3rd and long situation here for this Utah offense.
They got to come after him, Dusty, to your point. Sitting back in zone, all Utah does is flood the zones.
Rising again, a wide open receiver. First down to the 40-yard line. It's Money Parks. They did bring what looked like a delayed blitz, but the ball was already out. First down.
Well, it was an excellent route here by Money Parks. Gets past the sticks, shuts it down in the comeback, and as soon as he's coming out of his break, that ball is on him. Really good between the quarterback and wide receiver.
Dusty, that's such a tough route to cover because you're selling the corner route, and then you stop about 2 steps into the corner and come back down the stem, as you mentioned, as a comeback. Very, very difficult route.
Rising 5 of 6, almost 70 yards on third down. Here he is on first down, and Vele is free past the 20 and down near the 16-yard line. The gain of about 25, and Utah's in the red zone at the 2-minute mark.
The staff told us they feel like Vele is really right there on the cusp of breaking out for this offense. You love his size, and a nice job after the catch.
Rising to the air again. Checks it down. Ton of running room after the catch for Bernard. Gain of close to 9. Brought down by Robertson. Bernard came in with 9 catches on the season. They'll throw it to him out in space. They'll throw it to him downfield.
Does a little bit of everything for this offense, Dave. Good in pass protection, quality runner, excellent hands.
He'll play corner if he has to. Did that in the Rose Bowl last year because of injuries. Gets the carry here. And he breaks a tackle, lunges forward, gets the first down. Gain of 7. It'll be first and goal from about the 1-yard line.
He's saying, feed me. Let's go. Got that spoon in his hand. He wants to eat.
No, Dusty, it's interesting. You kind of get the sense that Utah said, well, you know, Arizona State gave up 305 yards on the ground last week, and everybody thinks we're just going to come out here and run it. You know what we're going to do? We're going to throw it. And that's what they've done for the majority of the first half.
No question. 179 yards passing in this first half to illustrate your point there, Tom.
Timeout by Arizona State to talk things over defensively with 50 seconds remaining in the first half.
Arizona State. Timeout on the field.
Matt Berry back in our college football studio. Catch you up on some of the night action coming up. Oregon State and USC, they're locked in a tight one. We'll have highlights. Plus, Oklahoma goes down at home to Kansas State. And Ohio State just keeps on rolling along. Jesse Palmer, Joey Galloway join me coming up on a fantastic Saturday here in college football.
Yeah, a lot of close games, a lot of great finishes. Clemson, Wake Forest, right at the top of the list. Texas Tech.
That
Auburn, Missouri.
That Wake Forest Clemson game, the quarterback play in that game today, Sam Hartman, DJ Uyunglele, it was next level outstanding. That Missouri Auburn game.
First down and goal on the 2. Jackson is the tailback. And he'll get the carry. Bounces off of a tackler and into the end zone for another Utah touchdown.
Nice physical run there by Jaquindon Jackson. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, is typically a wide receiver for this offense if you're just joining us. This physical piece of running gets hit by Silvera at about the 1. Bounces off, fights through, and finds the end zone to cap off a really nice drive. 2 key third downs there. A 3rd and 12 and a 3rd and 11 converted by Cam Rising through the air.
So they put him in short yardage to replace Tavion Thomas. Again, we have not been told whether it's injury related or disciplinary or something else as to why Tavion Thomas is not in there. There's been speculation on the internet, but that's not our job to speculate. We'll wait till we're told, as the extra point is good, and so it is 24-3 Utah. Let's take a look at the Taco Bell Live Más student section. Student sections across the country competing to be the Live Más student section of the year all season long. And while the student section here is always wild, it is something that over the last couple of games been very noticeable in the absence, meaning the fans here at Sun Devil Stadium. And you think about this program, the history and tradition, finding the next person. That's something we obviously have a lot of time to talk about in the second half, but finding and identifying that next person will be the biggest decision in a long time for Arizona State.
It's a good job I mean, few people know it as well as Tom Luganbill. Tom, your dad was here on multiple stints. I mean, am I crazy to think that this is a really good job in the Pac-12?
It should be, yes. And, you know, they've got facilities upgrades. As you notice, they've upgraded the stadium. You got a great city to live in. I think a lot of the questions revolve around what's the institutional commitment to football.
NCAA sanctions potentially coming. We don't know what those are, when they'll come out, given the timetable the NCAA operates on.
Jacobs decides to take it out of the end zone. It was a good decision. And he's tackled out of bounds past the 40-yard line.
Well, that last drive really highlighted by a couple of key third down conversions. Cam Rising, 3rd and long, no problem. Hooking up with his tight end, and an excellent route run by Money Parks. Just Arizona State sitting back in zone. Cam Rising picking them apart. And the big physical Jaquindon Jackson, wide receiver, playing some running back tonight. 227 pounds, physically finding the end zone.
Enough time here for Arizona State with good starting field position and 2 timeouts. Emory Jones passed though off target. He was going for Elijah Badger. 34 seconds remaining. And Arizona State goes to USC next week. Utah has Oregon State. USC comes to Salt Lake City October 15th. Utah will go to Oregon. Big comeback win for the Ducks against Washington State today. Pass underneath is caught. Sanders, and he's taken down at the 42. The clock will stop to move the chains as he got the first down. 28 seconds left. Get a sense that Arizona State settling down a little bit offensively here. And as you say that, the sack. 4th of the night for Utah. Reed back there again. Connor O'Toole as well.
Second time out of the half, Arizona State. This will be 30 seconds in duration.
So 18 seconds left. Loss of 7 on the sack.
4th sack there so far in the first half. It's Gabe Reed, Connor O'Toole. Connor O'Toole is a great story, 81. He was playing wide receiver last year for this Utah football team. He's put on 34 pounds, the staff told us, from last year. Went to Kyle Whittingham, said, how can I help impact the team? Thought about moving him to tight end, H-back, and said that he really liked what they do defensively, so he added the weight. He's had a really nice start to this season so far. Speed rusher, and already now with a sack and a half on the season.
39 total yards for Arizona State, and that includes all the lost rushing yards via the sacks. In trouble again. And Jones escapes, flips it downfield, inside the 30-yard line. The catch is made by Conyers. They're in field goal range now with 10 seconds left, and they have a timeout.
Little wizardry there by Emory Jones, escaping that pressure, and a nice pass on the outside.
Got to get rid of the ball here. 2 seconds to go. The pass out of bounds with 1 second left. Very dangerous choice there not to call the timeout, but to run another play. Now they'll bring on the field goal team. Part of the learning curve for, even though Sean Aguano's been a head coach, not at this level, and they did not handle the clock well that time. It just worked out. The 47-yard field goal try for Carter Brown, who made a 36-yarder earlier. And it just sneaks inside the right upright from 47 yards for Carter Brown.
This is the end of the second quarter.
Well, the offense and defense have been struggling, but the special teams have been on point. 2 big kick returns, 2 made field goals, and maybe a little bit of life into this Sun Devil football team as they take it in on a positive note to halftime.
24-6, Utah leading on the road here in Tempe. ASU will get the ball to start the second half, but right now, Matt Berry, Joey Galloway, Jesse Palmer, halftime report. Welcome back to ESPN College Football, presented by Geico. On a 90-degree night in Tempe, you're watching the Pac-12 on ESPN. Conference opener for both teams. Utah with a comfortable lead at halftime, 24-6. Great defense by the Utes. Sean Aguano making his debut as the interim head coach, replacing Herm Edwards, who parted ways with the program last weekend. That's why the negative rushing yards, the 4 sacks for Utah. And the Utes 5 of 9 on third down. They did lose one of their best players to injury, Brant Keithy, in that first half, which be a major storyline certainly for the next week and perhaps longer. This kickoff will sail through the end zone for a touchback. Arizona State will start on the 25-day pass. Dusty Dvorak and Tom Luginbill down on the field. We started out the telecast talking about Cameron Rising, his ability to bounce back from what happened week 1, the interception against Florida. Had a fantastic first half here tonight.
Yeah, he has. You know what? Utah is a running football team. They haven't run it that effectively, but Cam Rising, he's been sensational here tonight. And really on third down, money down, is when he's been at his best. 5 of 6 on third down, all of them moving the chains to help this offense to 24 points in the first half.
Utah, the defending conference champions. See how Arizona State adjusts offensively here in the third quarter, and it's quarterback run. Didn't see that much in the first half. A gain of about 6 for Emory Jones. Here's Tom.
Well, hey, Dusty, you mentioned didn't run the football very effectively for Utah, and when I talked with Coach Whittingham, he was not happy with the offensive game plan. He wants to run the football. Asked him point blank, will we see Tavion Thomas? He said, I haven't decided yet. We will see. Now, for Arizona State, what you just saw right there, I think is the smart move. They've got to start running Emory Jones, talking to Sean Aguano. They've got to change the launch point of the quarterback so that Utah just can't tee off on this offensive line.
Another run play. This time Jones gives it. Valladay bottled up, going to bring up third down. And again, just for folks that might be tuning in, we were told absolutely nothing by Kyle Whittingham and his staff about Tavion Thomas and whether he would be not available for this game. The assumption was he was good to go. We were also not told anything about Jaquindon Jackson, who's listed on the roster as a quarterback, but we've seen it running back in the first half. And obviously we're not going to sit here and respond to all of the speculation on Twitter and the internet about whether it's suspension related or injury related, but basically Kyle Whittingham said it's a coach's decision. Down goes Emory Jones, wrapped up by Connor O'Toole on third down and short. Looked like he lost a yard, fourth down.
And you see them trying to get Emory Jones on the edge with his athleticism. It's an outstanding play by Connor O'Toole, playing the zone read. Watch him squat, sit down. He can play the dive. He plays the quarterback run extremely well. Not bad for a former wide receiver. Really starting to become a household name at defensive end for this defense.
Off the side of the foot of the punter. Does take an Arizona State bounce inside the 30-yard line, out at the 26. 42-yard punt, and Utah's offense on the field for the first time here in the third quarter. And Jalen Glover will be the running back, so still no Tavion Thomas.
Numbers for Cam Rising just off the charts. 16 of 20, 179 yards, the 2 touchdowns early in this ball game, and as I mentioned earlier, just almost flawless on third down, especially right there before halftime. 2 big third down conversions.
Here's Glover, tons of room, upended by Bethley, but after a gain of 8 on the play.
A really nice job on the right side of this offensive line. Center Paul Miley gets up to the second level, helps pave a path.
Quick snap, another run straight ahead. Looks like it's going to be a first down based on forward progress to the 38-yard line as Glover, true freshman, 18 attempts coming into this game. And he's had 14 carries, or 13 carries rather, here tonight.
Dusty, this is what Kyle Whittingham wants to see. He wants to see them run the football. There was no by design to throw it so much in the first half. Maybe the defense dictated that, but you're going to continue to see this stuff right here.
Well, bully ball.
That's right.
It's the brand of football they like to play in Utah.
Rising. Incomplete. Intended for Devon Vele, who had a great first half. 2nd and 10, a rare miss for Rising.
Rising didn't quite get his feet set, kind of falling to the side as he tried to deliver that pass. A little bit off target. It was big wide receiver Vele. Actually saw a little pressure coming off the edge that time. Didn't really affect the throw of Cam Rising, and Donnie Henderson pretty conservative in that first half. We'll see if they get more aggressive, try to create some pressure.
On 2nd and 10, Rising back shoulder, incomplete, going for Vele. Tariq Luckett had pretty good coverage. Luckett and Isaiah Johnson, again, 2 players that have been on the field a lot in the secondary tonight that had barely played this season. In fact, Isaiah Johnson, who wears 0, he hadn't played at all. So it brings up a 3rd down and 10.
That was excellent coverage over there. Luckett got some good length at 6'2". Nice job getting his hand in there. Big stop here early in the second half. Arizona State can get off the field.
Luckett, a transfer from Colorado.
It's for 86 Kincaid.
Utah on 3rd and 10 plus. They've been dynamite. That one's off the mark and intercepted by Tamarcus Davis. He almost picked off one in the end zone in the first half. This time he comes up with it. And just the 2nd interception thrown by Rising this season.
Boy, the Sun Devils needed something good to happen. Huge takeaway by Tamarcus Davis. Again, this pass just off target, inside a little bit. And Davis with a big interception to start the second half. It's been tough sledding for the Sun Devil offense so far tonight because the Utah defense has been outstanding. But Clark Phillips breaking on this pass, and the pressure on Emory Jones has been from the onset. 4 sacks tonight, 7 tackles for loss. Sun Devils up front getting overwhelmed by this front 7 of the Utah Utes.
Morgan Scalley, 7th year as the defensive coordinator at Utah. Emory Jones, and they run a screen. Valladay with blockers. 1st down and more inside the 35. Gain of 19 for Valladay on the screen.
Boy, I love this play call by Glenn Thomas and the patience here of Emory Jones to allow it to set up. He waited. Big offensive lineman get out in front, and a nice job in the open field by Valladay. Turnovers are great, but if you don't cash them in and make them points, not nearly as significant. Excellent 1st down call to get Arizona State alive after the takeaway.
As one-sided as this has been, you get a touchdown, you're back in the game midway through the 3rd quarter. Jones in trouble. Just hoists it and gets rid of it as he was being chased down at the 48-yard line by Tafuna. Emory Jones on the day 8 of 17, 90 yards and the interception.
Utah's not given up a point in the 3rd down, in the 3rd quarter this season. Morgan Scalley does a nice job at halftime making adjustments.
Play action. Jones gets clean back at the 43-yard line. Bishop, and now a flag comes down late.
With Cole Bishop on that blitz, the safety came in. Big hit there on Emory Jones. Wait to see what this call is. Cole Bishop, just an excellent player on the back end of this defense.
Loss of 12.
Personal foul, targeting, defense number 8. This 15-yard penalty is under review.
So that potentially is big for 2 reasons. It obviously gives Arizona State a 1st down and puts them in the red zone, but it also knocks out Cole Bishop for the rest of this game in the first half of next week's game with Oregon State. it took a while for that flag to come in. They were celebrating for a good 3 to 5 seconds before they threw the flag for targeting. There was definitely contact to the helmet.
No question.
Of Emory Jones with force, you would think, right? And definitely looked like forcible contact live.
And a launch.
And not the crown of the helmet, but definitely contact to the head or neck area, and that was the head.
Remember, the side of the helmet, though, is not.
I don't think it was a launch. Looking at the replay,
Yeah, I don't know if that was a launch.
But there was forcible contact to the helmet with the helmet of Cole Bishop. Was it a crouch or a launch?
Been so many targeting calls throughout the course of the day.
We were talking with the replay crew before the game. They actually think you guys touched on the new rules for targeting, that it's actually made things a lot easier to call it this year. That one's hard, though.
That one's it's very difficult for me. That's why it's tough for me to give a firm call on it. Like, it is helmet to helmet contact, but I didn't see a launch. Could he lower his angle and hit him in a different spot? Absolutely. But if you look at Emory Jones, he crouches. I don't think this should stand. To me, that's not targeting. That's not what this rule is put in place for.
Right. I mean, there wasn't really an indicator, right?
After reviewing the play, there is no targeting for number 8. He may remain in the game. It is 3rd down at the 42-yard line.
You didn't have the launch of the crouch as the indicator, and there was contact, but they must have deemed that it was not forcible. He didn't lower his head.
And Emory Jones kind of crouches right before contact, right? So that launch point, that where Cole Bishop is trying to hit, it moves and it changes. I like the job that they did in the replay booth. I think that they absolutely got that one right. Cole Bishop, man, is he an excellent player on the back end of this Utah defense. Quality tackler. You see there, good off the edge and pressure. Big stop there on 2nd down.
Can you get in possession to get 3 points and make it a 2-possession game? Got to get to about the 30, you would think. They throw it inside the 35, and they do get to the 29. Charles Hall on the catch, so it's 4th and 8. But you give Carter Brown, who made a 47-yarder in the first half, you give him a shot.
They're going to go for it
I
here.
think they recognize field goals aren't going to win this game, Tom.
There's no question.
4th and 8, though? You have a chance to make it a 2-possession game. You still got 10.5 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. The decisions that Sean Aguano, longtime Chandler High School head coach, now the interim coach of Arizona State, making, and almost a sack. Jones in trouble. Now he goes down at the 26. Really didn't have a chance, and it's as if Arizona State saying, we can't stop them, so we have to convert here, because even with 3 points, they're going to score the next time they get the ball.
Well, Karine Reed, you see him with a nice blitz, fights through the block, and the Utah defense once again with a big stop.
ESPN College Football Primetime, presented by Geico, is brought to you by the stylish Lexus RX. Experience amazing at your Lexus dealer. And Mother's Polish High Performance Car Care.
Certainly understand Sean Aguano not trusting his defense, but 4th and 8, you have a chance, make the long field goal. Now it's a 2-possession game. Cameron Rising just threw a pick. Got 10 minutes to go in the 3rd.
You make a good point. I understand where he's coming from, trying to say, you know what, we're going to go for it. We're going to be aggressive, and we're going to try to come up with a touchdown. That if we continue to kick field goals all night, that's not going to win the game. Coming away with no points whatsoever after the takeaway, it leaves an empty feeling. Tough decisions that head coach, the interim, Coach Aguano's got to make.
4 state championships at Chandler High School. Tavion Thomas, first time we've seen him on the field, and he promptly goes for a big play all the way to the 45 of Arizona State for a gain of around 30.
One of the premier running backs in all of college football, 21 rushing touchdowns a season ago. big, physical, downhill running back, and you see his presence felt with his first touch of the ball game. Nice job on the interior. Keaton Bills, 51, the left guard, opening a nice hole.
Couple of years at Cincinnati, then junior college, then Utah, where he was first team all Pac-12. Gets another carry here, down to the 41-yard line for 5 more yards. 21 touchdowns a year ago, school record for a single season at Utah. Scored a touchdown in 12 consecutive games. Another carry here inside the 40, spun down at the 38 for 3 more yards. Guy that's overcome a lot in his life, and again, coach's decision based on what Kyle Whittingham told Tom Luginbill as to why he didn't play in the first half.
He had a fumbling issue at the beginning of last year, and he struggled to pick everything up, and really it was the USC game that he kind of broke out, followed up with a good game against Arizona State, and became the feature back for the majority of the rest of the season. Bright future ahead for Tavion Thomas.
Now 3rd down and 2. Can Arizona State come up with a stop? Gonna be Thomas again, trying to cut it back. Gonna be close at the 36-yard line. Connor Soley with the tackle. He's short. Utah's going to keep the offense on the field.
It would be big if they could come up with yet another stop here to start this second half. Already with the interception, the first possession. I think it's going to be a hand, give to Tavion Thomas. Cam Rising, you read option.
And Thomas able to move the chains. Just too powerful. Silvera trying to wrap him up along with Peshafea. But at 238 pounds, the Ohio native able to move the chains.
Gets those shoulders square. He is tough to tackle, Tom.
He is. He is a downhill freight train. He kind of looks like Braylon Allen in Wisconsin. That big physical running back, the 17-year-old freshman from a year ago, and just tough to tackle low or tackle high.
Rising to the air, slings it to Vele, who stumbled coming out of his break as he tried to turn the corner. Brought down to the 29. In the area was Isaiah Johnson. The Utah going up tempo now. Rising keeping it here. First down inside the 20. Gain of 11 to the 18.
Nice job by Kincaid, 86. Tight end. Gets out with a nice kick out block. Create a lot of space there for Cam Rising to get to the edge. Easy first down for the Utah offense.
Just enough quarterback run to keep you guessing and keep you on your heels if you're Arizona State on defense.
Keep you honest. Keep that backside defender. Stay home.
Yep.
Here's Bernard picking a hole. Little fist fight there, trying to work his way down to the 11-yard line. 7 more yards on the ground for the Utes. And again, right to the line. On the jet sweep. Dixon inside the 5, heading for the end zone. And it's a Utah touchdown. Well, that's why Sean Aguano went for it on 4th and 8.
I mean, they've struggled to stop this Utah offense all night long. You're going to have to score touchdowns. Really good blocking out in front on the perimeter. Vele, 17. Kincaid, 86. Yasmin, 87. Both tight ends, big wide receiver.
Jordan Noyes puts it through.
Blocked so well on the perimeter. Just such a key factor. You want to play at Utah, you want to be a receiver, you can't just catch the football. You got to have some physicality to you and help spring runs. A nice touchdown there for the Utes.
Let me show you how to be a star. Let me show you.
Take a look at this week's college football rankings brought to you by Verbo. A lot of close calls and some defeats for top 10 teams, with Oklahoma and Arkansas losing, although Arkansas did it against a ranked team. Clemson had to come from behind to win. So did USC. Kentucky was tied at halftime with Northern Illinois. The two teams that had no trouble at all, Alabama and Ohio State. Alabama, you could understand against Vanderbilt, but what Ohio State did to Wisconsin, even though the Badgers have a home loss against Washington State, very impressive for C.J. Stroud and the Buckeyes. Touchback, Arizona State will start this drive in the 25. Dave Pasch, Dusty Dvorak, Tom Luganville. So as we looked at those top 10 games and a couple of the teams that went down today, what stood out to you the most?
It's the Oklahoma loss. I think clearly at home against Kansas State, a Kansas State team that just lost to Tulane a week ago. Oklahoma's looked so impressive so far this season. And Adrian Martinez, 5 total touchdowns on the day. I'm sure Brent Venables going to have a lot to teach on from that film. I don't think it's a shocker that Arkansas loses neutral site to A&M. You know, it was a good, close, hard-fought game, and USC finds a way to get a victory on the road in Corvallis. So I think without question, the shocker of the day in Norman, Oklahoma.
Good throw that time by Emory Jones. Cam Johnson downfield makes the catch to the 46. That's a gain of 21.
Finally, some good protection there for Emory Jones. Good clean pocket. Nice delivery to Elijah Badger.
Does feel like the offense has been better here in the second half, maybe finding a little bit of a groove.
Hit that screen pass on the after the interception.
Another quarterback run. They've done this a little bit more here in the second half. Emory Jones picking up about 4 yards. The thing that stood out to me the most, the top 10, not the upsets. To me, it was the play of DJ Uiagalelei today for Clemson.
Fair.
Because think about it, we had them week 1. The question was, can they get back to the college football playoff? And it's probably going to come down to how well he plays. He was great today.
And they've been winning with defense, right? In spite of the offense. And Sam Hartman, that offense had their way. DJ had to step up, and he was sensational, no question.
Jones had to run there, cross the line, got the first down, but a penalty marker is down on the near side of the field at midfield.
Another thing from that game, his receivers are making some plays for him. That's
which the coaches have been asking for the receivers to step up.
2 players in motion at the snap. It's a 5-yard penalty. It's still second down.
And the throw he made where the guy is holding his left leg.
Yeah, that was incredible.
Showing the arm strength.
Incredible.
5 touchdown passes today for DJ. Almost 400 yards. A big win for them. They got NC State next week.
And you think for his confidence, right? There's been rattled, been shaken. It's going to do wonders.
Oh boy, Jones in trouble, and dangerous screen. Valladay with the catch, but Karene Reed was immediately there. Former walk-on to make the play.
Listen, outstanding play by Karene Reed. And it's a perfectly called play by Arizona State and offensive coordinator Glenn Thomas. Pressure from the field, set up the screen, pressure and set up the screen perfectly, and it's Reed knifing his way through blockers and getting a quality tackle. He doesn't make that play. A lot of running room out in front. Well done by the leader of this defense.
7 tackles for Karene Reed. High pass incomplete on 3rd and 11. It's 4th and 11. Karene's older brother Gabe has a sack in this game. Their dad Spencer played at BYU and played a little bit with the Cardinals in the NFL. Arizona State going to punt it. 4 minutes to go in the third, down 31-6.
Utah is going to be a team that's going to be right there on the cusp of top 10. Obviously, with that week 1 loss on the road in Gainesville, I thought, if it wasn't for a couple of red zone turnovers inside the 10, probably win that game. But with the teams losing, they're going to be right there, and everything still in front of this Utah football team.
Bailey fields it inside the 5. Taking the long route. Oh, he gets hammered out of bounds at the 20-yard line. Big hit, no flag. That was Bethley with the strike at the 20-yard line. All right, kick off your Sunday with NFL Countdown at 10 a.m. Eastern Time on ESPN. One-on-one with Josh Allen. A lot of big games on the Week 3 schedule, including Monday night, the 2-0 Giants taking on the Cowboys on ESPN, ABC, ESPN Deportes, and then on ESPN2, Peyton and Eli.
Can Cooper Rush get to 3-0 as a starter? Beat Minnesota last year, won last week against Cincinnati, or will it be Daniel Jones Coach Dayball trying to get to 3-0 as the new head coach there in New York.
Rising on the boot, throwing downfield, wide open is Yasmin. Inside the Arizona State 40, trying to rip the ball away, but unsuccessful, and Yasmin all the way down inside the 10-yard line. Chris Edmonds tried to take it out of his arms, could not.
It's like an embarrassment of riches at tight end. A nice job by Yasmin on that over route. Come open and excellent after the catch. Big body, 6'5", 250 plus, will not go down easy. And that's when you can establish the rushing attack. It's that play action, that boot, where Cam Rising is so comfortable surveying the field. Easy throw to his big target and outstanding with the football after the catch.
72 yards. First and goal. Tavion Thomas stood up this time and brought down by Silvera. Go ahead, Luke. You're trying to jump in there in that last play.
I was just going to say, it's interesting. It's like they're growing tight ends on trees in Salt Lake City. And the thing that is so impressive about how far this program has come is, if this is the first 4 to 5 years in the Pac-12 for Utah, they have a significant drop-off, all right, when a Brant Keithy goes down. This is the depth that they've established, and it's all at the right positions. Tight end, offensive line, and defensive front. They're built for college football playoff contention.
I'm going to pound it again here. Bernard inside the 5, down to the 3, brought down by Edmonds.
They are, man. I love the way this football team is built. Their DNA, inside out. It's the way Kyle Whittingham wants it.
Yep.
Play fundamentally sound, excellent defense. I mean, it's the program he's built here. It's unbelievably impressive. The continuity on the staff. His outstanding strength coach still here. Came here in 2005, the first year he was the head coach. There's just so much continuity. And they continue to grow and build year after year.
Dylan Hall shaken up, so you heard the whistle blow. I think two guys for the Pac-12. USC needed to win that game tonight.
Right. You're right.
That was a huge win in Corvallis. You got Washington's win last week. Oregon's comeback win again. Big for the Pac-12.
Big win today for Oregon. Came from behind, and Pullman wasn't easy. They had that nice win last week against BYU. Feels like the depth of the Pac-12 better than it's been the last couple of years.
Third down and goal from the 3. They run. Bernard, he doesn't get in. Good play by Anthony Cooper. We put up the graphic earlier that since 2016, no team that lost in September has made the college football playoff. So that historically does not bode well for Utah. But again, it feels like this year's different. We're going to have more and more upsets. And people said that was an upset because Utah's in the top 10. That game's at Florida.
Yeah, no question. And it came down to the final moments, right? I mean, it was an outstanding football game to kick off week 1 of the season as we come on 4th and goal, and Kyle Whittingham, he's going for it.
With a 25-point lead. Rising to throw, looking, fires, and it's knocked down by Robertson. Upset that he didn't pick it off, but doesn't matter. Arizona State will take over on downs with 44 seconds to go in the quarter.
It's a really nice play here by Merlin Robertson. Underneath coverage, the vision he has on Cam Rising, gets right in the throwing lane and almost intercepts his pass. Outstanding job inside by the linebacker, and he's just going to read the eyes of the quarterback and right in that throwing lane, and good stop there by the Sun Devil defense.
Look, if Utah, going back to our conversation a second ago, if Utah runs the table, wins the Pac-12, hard to imagine, based on where USC is right now, where Oregon is, Washington, that Utah's not going to be in the college football playoff.
Oh,
they win it.
If they run the table, they're getting in.
And keep in mind,
there's no question.
Other teams in the top 10 are going to end up playing each other.
No, 100%. Yeah. USC has to go to Salt Lake City.
Yeah, October 15th. Jones floating it out there, complete to Andre Johnson. Forward progress stopped at the 30, a gain of 28.
No fear, out of their own end zone, little play action. Put the ball up. Strong hands through the catch from Andre Johnson.
Final seconds here of the quarter. Arizona State is at USC next week. Mentioned that Utah's got the Trojans October 15th. They've got Oregon State next week. A game in Salt Lake. Jones, another completion. Badger past the 40, dragging defender, fumble the ball. It's still free. Looked like Utah caught or jumped on it. And it is. There's a marker down. Utah saying that they have it. They do. Mataele came out of there with it for Utah. Let's see what the penalty's about. No time on the clock here in the third quarter.
These Utah defenders attack that ball with a vengeance, Dusty.
100%.
Ruling on the field is a fumble that was recovered by the defense. After the play, personal foul, number 2 in the fumbling team. This 15-yard penalty will be enforced to start the fourth quarter.
It's on Badger, who turned the ball over. Was upset afterwards. And so Utah with the takeaway will have good starting field position when we begin the fourth quarter. The Utes leading at 31-6 after 3.
Are you ready? Okay, say no more. She's a lotus and I'm the conductor of a magnum opus. Simply grab the dough. She's right on.
Well, Kyle Whittingham has been at Utah since 1994. He's now in his 18th season as the head coach, the second longest tenured active FBS head coach behind Kirk Ferentz, tied with Mike Gundy. All-time winningest coach in Utah history, and they won the conference last year after a slow start.
And he told us 1-2 start. He told us that was significant. They've been knocking on that Pac-12 championship door. Been to the championship game several times. And he said the determination and look on his players' faces in the locker room before that championship game, they would not be denied. It's a great bounce back story a season ago.
And Rising keeping it here. Out of the 24-yard line with Bethley down there for Arizona State, and a gain of 10. 3 New Year's 6 bowl games for Whittingham. And in an age where everybody's looking for that next job, Kyle Whittingham has stayed at Utah, has had multiple opportunities to leave.
And a lot of his coaches staying. Very little attrition for the transfer portal. A lot of 4th, 5th-year guys on this Utah roster. He's done it the right way.
Rising throwing here. Bailey tried to adjust but could not come up with it. Isaiah Johnson in coverage.
As we're watching Cam Rising tonight have such a nice evening and continuing this great start to the season, picking up right where he left off from last year. He was really the spark. San Diego State last year is when he was inserted after losing the job to Charlie Brewer. And even though they lost that game, that's where things really took off. And what I love is he didn't win the starting job, yet he was still named team captain. He went to Kyle Whittingham and said, I'm going to work even harder to win this job back. It's exactly what you want in a leader and in your quarterback.
Thomas bangs forward inside the 20. He mirrors the personality of Kyle Whittingham. Kyle's a little bit more entertaining than maybe people realize. And I think Cam Rising makes that pretty clear that he's an interesting and entertaining young man. But the toughness, the leadership, just right what you said, the quote there about I'm just going to keep working harder, that really encompasses Utah football and again mirrors the approach of Kyle Whittingham in so many ways.
He has a quiet fieriness.
Thomas gets the carry on 3rd down and brought down short of the line of game. We'll see if Utah goes for it on 4th down again. Tackle made by Soley, Kyle Soley.
Seeing more and more of that throughout all of football, but I noticed today a lot of college football. 4th down, see coaches being a lot more aggressive in these situations. Seen it from Kyle Whittingham several times this evening, especially when it's 4th and short, given the way this team's constructed.
Rising checking out of it, unless he's just trying to draw Arizona State offside. Nope, checks into a run to the left, and Thomas gets the first down. That has to also infuse something into your players on offense when you continue to show confidence in them. Because Texas Tech went for it early in the 3rd quarter, 4th down, didn't get it, but that offense didn't skip a beat.
They went for it early and late in the game as well, like continued all throughout the game. That's right. I think it does. I think it invokes confidence, and whenever you convert, you know, I just think it really brings that bunch together, and when your coach believes in you, that's a very powerful thing within a team, within an offense.
Rising, climbing the pocket, throws end zone incomplete. Going for Kincaid.
Well, yeah, I think through analytics, though, too, in the study of all of this and the percentages, coaches have started to realize that the percentages are higher of making it than they probably ever thought they were. You just didn't have the analytics material before.
Tom Analytics Luganville, is that what you're telling me?
I'm telling you, when you show coaches percentages, that builds confidence in letting it happen.
No question. You're 100% right.
2nd and 10. Give to Thomas straight ahead. Inside the 10. And touchdown saving tackle by Soley at the 5. 8 more yards on the ground for Utah. And the Utes closing in on 200 rushing yards for the game.
Thomas doling out punishment as he's carrying the football between the tackles. Tough guy to get to the ground.
3rd and 2. Thomas taking some shots. No gain on the play. Bethley in there first. Anthony Cooper also, another 4th down.
Arizona State's credit, man, they have not given up defensively.
Yes.
I really, it's one thing, it's Donnie Henderson, the defensive coordinator, goes back and looks at this film. And there's plenty you can correct, and obviously it's not all perfect, but they haven't quit. They haven't given up, and that is commendable. Players dealing with a lot. It's their head coach parting ways on Sunday. Coach Aguano named head coach. I mean, it's a lot of emotions throughout the course of the week for these players.
And some movement by Utah, penalty marker. Because here's the thing about Herm Edwards. You can look at the record, the lack of success.
71 of the offense. It's a 5-yard penalty.
That Arizona State fans were hoping for, but the players love, everybody loves Herm Edwards.
It's Herm.
And so this is difficult for a lot of players. That the way Herm treats people, a lot of these guys had close relationships with him. Even if they weren't close relationships, everybody likes Herm Edwards. Tough to transition from that, dealing with those emotions when you have to start conference play. Field goal good by Noyes, 28 yards, 34-6, Utah.
So the first person I think of when I think about a teacher that's done something for me or taught me something is Matt Halden. Matt Halden taught me you are who you are when no one's watching, and that's something I really take to heart. You are who you are when no one's watching, because that's the time you're really going to do what you think is truly and right.
That'd be good for Lugs and Dusty to follow. Extra Yard for Teachers Week is an annual back-to-school effort led by the College Football Playoff Foundation that brings college sports together, recognize and show appreciation to get teachers across the country. To support Extra Yard for Teachers recognition and resource initiatives, follow at CFP Extra Yard or scan the QR code for more. Here's Ngata on the kick return for Arizona State, and he's out past the 25. Ooh, hits the deck hard at the 30-yard line.
See you with those little wisecracks, Pash. I see you. Hey, don't think you can't get thrown out of this window up here, okay?
Dusty, how dare he besmirch our good name?
All right, there's Ray Anderson, athletic director Michael Crow to Ray's right, our left, who is the school president. They met with Herm Edwards on the field after. We didn't get confirmation on it. There was a lot of speculation that at that point the decision was made between Herm Edwards and Crow and Anderson that he would not stay on. as the head coach of Arizona State. Again, with a year and a half into NCAA investigation. Long throw by Jones, complete to Charles Hall into Utah territory. 5 full-time coaches leaving, both coordinators from last year, bunch of players. They were picked 10th preseason. And talking with Ray yesterday, he said, really, Herm was tired. Herm said he was tired, and there was some relief since this is over.
Coach Aguano said the same thing. Coach Aguano had said that he talked to Herm Edwards 3 different times throughout the course of the week, and you know, it was just a sense of relief over him after everything that's gone down, and obviously being relieved of his duties. Coach Aguano saying that one hope that he has, not only in proving and showing that he's a viable candidate for the job, but to put a smile on Herm's face with the way this team's able to play. And obviously, Ray Anderson, president, everybody involved, they've got a big decision to make here over the next several months. Very important hire coming up for this football program.
2nd down and 3. Jones' pass is caught by Sanders, and he does get the 1st down. And obviously, there's a lot of people's futures are up in the air depending on what happens with the NCAA investigation. But assuming Sean Aguano doesn't run the table and get the head coaching job, what's the direction Arizona State needs to go?
You know, I think that they need to get somebody with some energy, somebody who can recruit. I think that's the biggest thing. We talked about this area, this Maricopa County, the droves of quality top flight Division I athletes that are here. You've got to be able to secure your borders and keep that talent right here and get it to stay here in Tempe and be a part of this program. I think that's as important as anything, Tom. I think they need somebody energy, young. I think offense is in right now. I think an offensive mind would make a lot of sense. And really, as much as anything, somebody who can do a great job in the state of Arizona as it relates to recruiting.
Yeah, and the head coach needs to be a tireless worker in recruiting. He needs to be an evaluator, a worker, understand that players first, plays second. And then I think administratively, from an institutional standpoint, what's the commitment going to be? What's that new coach going to have at his disposal when it comes to compete with the Utahs and the Oregons of the Pac-12, whether it's staffing, resources, funding, NIL? There is a slew of items. There are going to be a lot of questions asked about what do we have internally within this program to make it what we all think it should be. And that may determine who says yes if offered the job, if they can get those answers and then get them in writing.
Assuming playoff expansion happens and assuming UCLA and USC in particular are no longer in the Pac-12, that's a great thing for Arizona State.
Yeah.
Those schools are out of the picture in terms of winning your conference, which will get you an automatic bid to the college football playoff. So now you have a legitimate shot year in, year out to make the college football playoff. This is going to be the most important football hire in Arizona State history. Intercepted by Bishop. At the 2-yard line, Utah will take over.
There's no question, Dave. This is a massive hire. And given the way this ended, I do think the NCAA sanctions investigation is a big piece of this, but very important hire over the next couple of months for this program. And Emory Jones off his back foot, pressured once again, and a nice interception by Cole Bishop. This Utah defense has been lights out all night.
ESPN College Football is presented by Geico. Switch today and see all the ways you could save. And in part by Goodyear. Discover the possibilities. Goodyear, more driven.
26 years ago this week, the late great Pat Tillman, Jake the Snake, Jake Plummer helped lead Arizona State to an 11-win season, almost a national championship, losing in the Rose Bowl to Ohio State. Since then, just one conference championship. They were co-champs in 2007. And that's why we're saying before the break, with expansion of the college football playoff, likely an automatic bid for a Pac-12 winner, and USC going to the Big Ten out of the picture, this is going to be an incredibly important hire for Arizona State as to who the next coach is. And we talked about this a little bit in the first half as Jackson is out past the 5-yard line. You look at the recent tumult under Herm Edwards with the investigation into alleged recruiting violations that who knows when that is going to come to completion and when an announcement will be made. 16 players plus departed, 5 coaches, and then the loss to Eastern Michigan, which resulted in the decision to mutually part ways. Sean Aguano, the interim head coach, got to find a way to keep in-state talent from going elsewhere. Jackson again, able to break one tackle and brought down by Bethley.
And to me, that's the biggest key. And look, you live here, Dave. I mean, this is a gorgeous place to live. There's a lot to sell here in Tempe. And just being able to secure this area, I mean, it's got to be right there at the very top of the list.
You know, you look at that list of departed players, too. You're looking at Eric Gentry, who's probably the best player right now in USC's front four. Johnny Wilson, we've seen what he's done at Florida State the last couple of weeks. Even Jaden Daniels looks like he looked as a freshman here at Arizona State playing for LSU now. So we're talking about good players that left the program.
Rising has a completion out to the 10-yard line to Enos. If you're a coach, though, and you're not sure when the investigation's going to end and what the sanctions are, why would you take the job?
Well, it's a bit of a gamble. I mean, you can look at Tennessee. I mean, Josh Heupel takes that job.
But that's Tennessee.
It's essentially a slap on the wrist. LSU, we just got, the NCAA just ruled on them a slap on the wrist. I mean, what will the NCAA really do? I think that's the question that nobody knows. I mean, it's a bit of a gamble at this point when the questions are out there, but you have to start to wonder, given all the conversation about how, does the NCAA really have teeth? Is that really going to scare somebody away if they feel this is a sleeping giant of a job?
Guess it depends on the names you're going after, too. So Aaron Judge really was going without homers the last 4 games just because he knew he was going to be on Sunday Night Baseball with a chance to get to 61. 7 Eastern time. ESPN. Baseball tonight kicks it off at 6 Eastern. Trying to tie Roger Maris for the most in American League history. Over the last 4 games, since hitting number 60, Judge is 3 for 13. Now, they have been pitching around him some. He's got 5 walks, but he's also struck out 6 times.
In the hunt for the Triple Crown as well. Leading baseball, American League in home runs, RBIs, right there at the top in average. Stellar season for Mr. Judge. Some interesting, got a chance to see a lot of his at-bats today during college football. Struck a chord with some folks, but unable to get to 61.
We'll see if he does it tomorrow night, Sunday night. Second down at 10, Arizona State down 34-6. To Utah. Sun Devils have not started 1-3 since 1994. That was Kyle Whittingham's first year at Utah as an assistant coach, as that pass is caught by Cam Johnson. Kyle Whittingham's first head coaching opportunity at Utah was here in the Fiesta Bowl. Urban Meyer was going to leave for Florida, so they were co-coaches that game. Kyle Whittingham got the win and now is in year 18 as the head man. They've got, like Arizona State, difficult schedule coming up with Oregon State, USC. Arizona State's got SC next week, Washington as well.
UCLA next week. Don't overlook that game.
Out of the backfield, Valladay down to about the 30.
Sorry, UCLA in 2 weeks. It's another team. Keep an eye on them with DTR at quarterback.
So one of the things we were touching on before the break with regard to names of people you're going after, if you're Arizona State looking at the next head coach, and again, who knows when it's all said and done, are the same people that are in position now to make decisions, are they still there to make the next hire? And if there is a cloud of an investigation and you're not sure, what kind of names, if you're Ray Anderson, if you're Michael Crow, are you looking at? Are you scared off by some of the bigger names, thinking that maybe you can't attract somebody who's going to leave a good job for a job like this when you don't know the future based on no word from the NCAA?
All valid questions, and ones that it's just tough to really judge at this point in time, because like you said, there are far more questions to a lot of this than anybody has answers. But I would say if you're an established coach that's in a really good standing, got a good culture already implemented? No, it's probably going to be tough to lead with so many question marks surrounding, but there's a lot of bright young coordinators, there's a lot of up-and-coming coaches that I would imagine would jump at the opportunity to get a job like this.
Ballade ripped down inside the 30-yard line. You think about Clemson when the decision, Tommy Bowden part ways with Clemson, and they identified Dabo Swinney.
Yeah.
Look how that turned out. Is there somebody like that that's out there in college football?
You know, the argument I would make there, guys, though, and again, it goes back to the whole institutional commitment. They identified Dabo Swinney, and then the university said, we are all in on making our biggest revenue producer a giant. And that's what they did. It was perfect timing for Dabo because the university was all in on it.
Do you get the sense that that's not the case here as Jones' pass is complete inside the 15?
I do. I think there's limits. I think there's limitations. You know, how much do they want to truly invest to? So, for example, if we're going to assume or believe that Oregon maybe has the greatest resources of anybody in this conference, does Arizona State want to beat Oregon on an annual basis? And if so, are they willing to do what Oregon has done as a program?
Inside 3 minutes to go in this one. Jones to the end zone, incomplete. And he had Chad Johnson Jr. Couldn't connect.
And then on the flip side, you've got a program like Utah, who Kyle Whittingham told us himself, you know, they don't get the 4- and 5-star guys. It's about development. It's about identifying talent and the right players for their program. So it's fascinating the different ways you can have success in college football. And the most important thing is getting this next hire right, whichever way it's going to be.
Jones' pass is caught by Sanders, who stumbles down to the 6, so he's short of the line to gain. Bring up 3rd down.
If they can get anything positive to end this game off, maybe good vibes, anything good, it can help catapult them into next week before they head to USC.
Play action. Jones to the end zone. Incomplete. Flag down. Sanders the intended target. Now, there have been some good assistant coaches, young assistant coaches that have been here at Arizona State recently.
Illegal formation. 5 players in the backfield.
That are now head coaches. Billy Napier. Mike Norvell.
It's a 5-yard penalty. It's still 3rd down.
Just 2 examples of coaches that were here as assistants that went on to big opportunities elsewhere. Can you find somebody like that? Not saying you're going to get Napier and Norvell, but can you find somebody like that that's on another staff to get them to come out to Arizona State?
Dino Babers.
Well, he's a head coach.
Yeah, but he's coached here before.
What are you trying to do to Syracuse? Come on, they're 4-0 for the first time.
I know you are. I'm just telling you. You asked the question, I gave you an answer.
You're raising Dave's blood pressure. Calm down, Tom. Jeez.
Syracuse, Kansas headed for the national title game. Pressure in the face of Emory Jones from Gabe Reed again.
That pressure has been relentless all night long. Nice twist game there by Gabe Reed as he comes inside. I think the reality of this is just it's still too early and there's still too much unknown. And that's why they're going to have plenty of time to go through the process, see exactly, you know, who are viable candidates, maybe get some more clarity on what these NCAA sanctions potentially look like. But I think as we're sitting here, not even a week removed from the departure of Herm Edwards, I think it's tough to know exactly what direction they're looking to go.
4th down. Jones, touchdown. Good throw that time to Messiah Swinson. Well, you said it earlier, Dusty. They haven't quit. They're still fighting. That's a credit to Sean Aguano and his staff for how they've been able to get these players stay committed this week.
See Swinson right there. Inline tight end. Good protection finally for Emory Jones, and a good find to finally get this Sun Devil offense in the end zone.
I think if you're a Sun Devil fan, that part is encouraging, though. You got a long season to go. The players are still playing very hard here down the stretch in a game where Utah has been in full command for a while. ESPN College Football is presented by Geico. When we are done, Stan and Neil are standing by with SportsCenter from Los Angeles. Great day at college football. All the sights and sounds of the last college football Saturday in September. Think about that for a second. It's October 1st, next Saturday. Aaron Judge, Sunday Night Baseball, going for number 61.
Nice outfit there. I like that.
Finding things to say and do in a blowout. So 34-13. Utah in front. Touchback, and so come out to the 25. All right, Dusty, putting you on the spot here. I know it's 1 week of Pac-12 play under our belt, but who's the best team in the conference?
Woo! I mean, look, I think it's Utah or USC. I mean, I would put those two 1A, 1B. You maybe have to give a slight lean to USC the way Caleb Williams has played. That's an impressive win. In Corvallis, that offense has looked great. I still think, though, the way this team is constructed and the way they're built, they're going to give USC a lot of fits. To me, it's those two teams at the top. But I think the real story about the Pac-12, like we talked about earlier, it's a deeper conference, man. It's going to be a tough road to hoe with 9 conference games for any of these teams. And a reminder, this year, they've done away with divisions in the Pac-12, and it's the 2 best teams that will be represented in the Pac-12 championship.
You mentioned some of the key games, and I love you reminding everybody that, right, the divisions are no longer. Here are some of the games coming up. I mean, Washington's playing great.
Absolutely.
Friday night, ESPN at UCLA. And then the SC-Utah game, which we talked about.
It's going to be a fun season in the Pac-12. There'll be a lot of competitive, hard-fought games. We saw that today. Oregon going to Pullman, USC going to Corvallis. League's on the uptick, man. It really is.
Will be really interesting to see where USC is ranked this week. All the way up to number 7, but with 2 top 10 teams losing. USC did have a come-from-behind win, but it was on the road in Corvallis. Bryson Barnes, by the way, getting a couple reps here. Quarterback is in there now.
By the way, Jonathan Smith, what a job he's done there. Coach Dickert there at Washington State. I mean, we were talking with Coach Whittingham about that yesterday, you know, and he definitely felt like, you go back to the COVID year, the shortened season, lack of games, a lot of games were canceled. It hurt the league a little bit, hurt these teams, these programs, from being on the field playing. And it feels like they're finally getting back, getting their good footing. It's going to be a fun league to watch all season long.
And a reminder that one of us here picked USC to make the college football playoff.
Dave Pash.
It's a weekly reminder. I'm starting to learn.
4 games in and a long way to go.
Well, I think one of your teams already has a loss that you guys picked. I think all 4 of mine are still intact.
Yes, I think that's probably accurate. Yeah. Are you taking a victory lap already?
Oh, no. I can't get over the fact that September is over in terms of college football, and that, at least Saturday-wise, there'll be obviously games on Thursday and Friday, but the next Saturday of college football action will be October 1st, which means we're inching closer and closer to more important league games, and eventually the first college football playoff rankings. More Heisman Trophy discussion. 34-13.
Excited, Dave. Jeez.
Utah with a win on the road to go to 3-1. Arizona State drops to 1-3 for the first time since 1994. SportsCenter, Stan Verrett, Neil Everett coming up from Los Angeles. For Dusty Dvorak, Tom Luganbill, our entire ESPN crew, I'm Dave Pash saying so long from Tempe, Arizona. Utah ranked 13th. We'll see if the Utes jump into the top 10 after another impressive win on the road at Arizona State. SportsCenter up next.